everyone, this is Fantasy Ask and welcome back to Royal Clan in ClanGen, the Warrior Cats clan generator game. When we left off in the previous episode, we had a very exciting pregnancy notice with Flare Freckle and her mate Smokewater after many moons of waiting, which was very exciting. But because we were away for 6 moons, a few unexpected things did happen, and we also caught up on the fact that we had lost Pale Petal, who was my favorite, and we lost Crowpelt, which was very unfortunate because he took with him one of the founding bloodlines, so now we can only have a max of 8 royal bloodlines. So there was that. And one of you lovelies also made a interesting comment about one of the cats that, well, now has passed away, but I don't know if the person who made the comment is up to this part yet. It's okay, I'll go ahead and read the comment they made, and it was about Flarepaw. Actually, no, I thought it was about Firepaw, but no, this was about Flarepaw. Yeah, okay, well, look at me. I responded to that, and I was talking about Firepaw, but no, they were talking about Flarepaw, which makes it all the more perfect, actually, because Flare Freckle is currently expectant, and her story is also blossoming in a very interesting way. So the comment was from a Mexel. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but they said Flarepaw having the exact opposite arc of Icicle Speck when he was an apprentice, and then getting him as a mentor for the last moon. Icicle Speck, being an only child, guaranteed the title Apprentice of the King and basically did everything right and was liked and respected by mostly all the cats. Flarepaw, being the forgotten middle child of 2 brothers who had a better advantage from the start, showing unimpressive results in her training despite working twice as hard, and got the short end of the stick in any given situation. It's a cruel irony, which is so true, but then building to that story was something that Vornell commented on, about how Flare Freckle has kind of shown us into adulthood that despite the setbacks she's been given or the expectations the clan has had for her and things she's had to go along with, she has retained her sense of independence by doing things at her own pace. She never let the king rush her into having kittens. She never let the clan or the matchmaker rush her into falling in love. She did everything at her own pace, which just makes me adore her all the more, and I am very excited for her young ones when they do eventually arrive. But okay, that's enough rambling from me. Let's go straight to the leader's den and roll the dice to see how Fernstar is going to handle the next gathering. Okay, so we got a 2 on the D10, which is Snowy Clan, and we got a 7 on the D8, which is Praise. And then let's skip a moon. Royal Clan doesn't have enough prey for the next moon. At the gathering, Fernstar, King Fernstar, tells Snowy Clan's leader that he thinks Snowy Clan looks stronger than ever. Snowy Clan relations have improved. Icicle Speck tells himself that he can't let these feelings consume him. Instead, he has to learn to live with it. Flare Freckle hopes the litter will be small. She feels overwhelmed at the idea of a big litter, though when one waddles more than pads around camp, one has to accept that she should move into the nursery. Okay, so she's headed to the nursery. And how is everyone else going? They seem to be in good spirits. Buttercup Finn has aged up into a senior! Oh my goodness, Buttercup Finn! And she has retained her childishness, which is kind of cute. So that's nice. But oh my goodness, guys, our clan is getting older, and our clan is getting smaller. We need more kittens, we need kittens fast. Okay, let's go ahead and check out our relationships. King Fernstar and Scorchmoss giggle over something silly. And Scorchmoss is the royal physician. Okay. We know that Fernstar still holds a candle to Buttercup Finn, his right hand, but she's all but moved on from him. She now has this very interesting triangle with Scorchmoss and Flailstorm. King Fernstar and Flailstorm have a race. Flailstorm wins. Scorchmoss overheard Buttercup Finn spreading a hurtful rumor. Oh, that's not good. Why do you think that is? I'm wondering if Buttercup Finn is interested in Flailstorm, and Flailstorm has actually been, like, he's kind of, I think, gotten over his feelings. He also lost feelings for Scorchmoss. He's more fascinated by Buttercup Finn. But do you think, knowing the history, maybe Buttercup Finn, this is so vicious, but maybe Buttercup Finn, I mean, she's childish, so I don't think it would be out of viciousness. It would just be childishness. But do you think she knows that Scorchmoss is in love with Flailstorm, but she wants, like, Flailstorm and Scorchmoss to kind of separate from one another? So Buttercup Finn, she's spreading this rumor about Scorchmoss so that Flailstorm can get away from her and spend more time with Buttercup Finn. But maybe in her childishness, she's being envious of something that really has no place, because Flailstorm on his end isn't even thinking much about Scorchmoss anymore. He's giving his attention to Buttercup Finn. I don't know. Shadefleck motivated Scorchmoss to get out of her nest this morning, and no doubt Scorchmoss was feeling very, unmotivated, and she was feeling very discouraged by that. But it's kind of nice that her son, her only remaining son, Shadefleck, checked up on his mother to get her out of the nest, and, so sad. King Fernstar tells Icicle Speck that he was worried for him. Flailstorm thinks that Bearpelt stole one of his ideas. Shadefleck snickered when Flailstorm tripped. Oh my goodness, this is so funny, because Shadefleck was checking up on his mother, and he probably spoke to his mother, and maybe she expressed, whether or not she did express, I think Shadefleck, he's bloodthirsty, right? So I feel like he's the type of cat, if someone messes with his mother, then he's gonna, mess with them. So, as, a supportive clan member, maybe he is trying to control himself and not actually get into a fight. But if Flailstorm, the one who's causing a little bit of heartbreak for his mother, is tripping, then he can snicker at least. That's actually pretty funny. Smokewater learns that Shadefleck is scared of thunder too. Smokewater talks all the time about Flailstorm. Buttercup Finn didn't know that Bearpelt was so talented. Okay, so it's a mother-son bonding time. And this is her favorite son too, if I'm not mistaken. Is it? Yes, it is. Shining Stripe was his father's favorite. Buttercup Finn tells a joke that only Icicle Speck can understand. Shining Stripe is telling Bearpelt something interesting about another clan. Flare Freckle and Flailstorm realized they were the only ones that saw a shooting star. Flare Freckle and Smokewater snuck out of camp together. Oh, look at them! They're spending time together. That is so cute. I love this. Buttercup Finn respects Bearpelt's opinion despite disagreeing with it. And Shadefleck saw Smokewater the other day and did get a chance to meow hello. So that's all we have for the events. So let me cut the recording here and we'll continue with the cat list. Okay, it is time for us to take a look at the cat list, and we have had a change. So Buttercup Finn is now one of King Fernstar's loyalists, and she hasn't been this whole time. At first, it was because of her loyalty to her previous mate, King Canary Star, but then even after she and Fernstar were getting to know each other and working together, she still hadn't become a loyalist of his, which is kind of interesting if you think about it. And then obviously she lost all her feelings for Fernstar, and Fernstar is still holding a candle to her, but finally she's gone ahead and become a loyalist. And I think what's happening is that Buttercup Finn now no longer is worried about King Fernstar. Her relationship with him isn't complicated anymore. She's more focused on Flailstorm. So I think to her, she can put her private life aside and her professional life aside, and professionally she's probably supporting King Fernstar, as his right hand and as a member of the King's Court. But in terms of her feelings, obviously that's leaning more towards Flailstorm. So that's what we have with loyalties. Now, in terms of relationships, I noticed some fascinating things while I was wandering around, and I thought we'd dive in and take a look. Just a quick scan through things. So, we already talked about Fernstar still liking Buttercup Finn, but obviously she has moved on from him. Now, she has similar amount of feelings for Scorchmoss and Flailstorm. They both intrigue her, but right now she's giving a bit more attention to Flailstorm. She likes Flailstorm just a little bit more. And even in events, we kind of saw that she was saying hurtful things to Scorchmoss or about Scorchmoss to try and get more of Flailstorm's attention, and I think that hurts Scorchmoss's feelings, and now Shadefleck is a little bit pissed at Flailstorm. So things are happening on that front. Scorchmoss, I feel bad for her, but she is wise, so I don't think she would play the blame game. She would probably keep it to herself, and her son notices, but others might not. And the reason I feel bad for her is because Scorchmoss is in love with Flailstorm, who has lost all his interest in her, but she also admires Buttercupfin. So when Buttercupfin does these kind of hurtful things to her, then I feel so sad. It's so saddening, isn't it? That the two people who are pulling at her heartstrings are, one, ignoring her, and two, hurting her. That's so tragic, I feel. On top of the fact that she did have a wonderful love story, but she lost her mate. This was her attempt to move on, and this is her second love with Flailstorm, right? And she lost 2 of her children as well, and now she only has the one son left. So I don't know, I just feel like she's had enough hurt in her life, and I just want her to be happy, but the cats won't listen to me. They won't. They're doing their own thing. Flailstorm, meanwhile, we know he is, at this point in time, more intrigued by Buttercupfin. So he's lost his interest in Scorchmoss, he's more intrigued by Buttercupfin, and he's chasing that fancy. I mean, he's childish too. So I suppose that side of him is calling to the side of Buttercupfin, right? So there is that. Icicle Speck, oh my goodness, I think it was Vornell again who pointed out that between Icicle Speck, I think Bearpelt and Shadefleck, we actually have the Princess Club, and I didn't even realize this, but the love triangle we have with the younger generation, it's between all the princes, and I feel bad for Shining Stripe, because he has this one-sided, affection for Icicle Speck, I think, but it doesn't matter, because he's not a prince, so it's almost like he's not part of this clique, Icicle Speck, Bearpelt, and Shadefleck, they're like the elites among royals. So, I feel bad for him. But yeah, Icicle Speck, nothing's changed in regards to his feelings for Shadefleck. And then Bearpelt obviously likes Shadefleck as well, just a little bit more. And then Shadefleck is equally split between the two of them. Shining Stripe, yeah, we know. His affection for Icicle Stripe is true. You know what this is giving me? This is giving me the same vibe as Smokewater and King Fernstar. You know how Smokewater was always very faithful to Fernstar, but Fernstar's attention was on Watergale and everyone else. Yeah, this kind of giving me that vibe, and I feel bad for him because Shining Stripe is very morally upright, I don't think he would knowingly mess around with someone's feelings like that. Flare Freckle, meanwhile, is happily in love with Smokewater, and nothing is disturbing that balance, which I'm very thankful for. Shadefleck, yeah, we know he's equally split between Icicle Speck and Bearpelt. Neither have done anything to really drag him in any one direction. Let's see, and Smokewater is a bit of a mess. Oh, I don't even know actually I didn't even do this, but when we were with Buttercupfin, we need to go back to Buttercupfin. Where is she? She was not done causing problems. So you'll see the feelings that she has for Flailstorm and Scorchmoss, but actually, funnily enough, she has feelings for Smokewater as well. And if we really look at it, I think she's kind of split, I think, between Flailstorm and Smokewater right now. They intrigue her more than Scorchmoss. But Smokewater, I was like, when did this happen, right? I couldn't understand. And when I was looking through the timeline, I think Smokewater, he used to tease Buttercupfin, right? tell Buttercup Finn used to tell him to stop saying a joke, but he wouldn't take it seriously, and it was a negative effect. So he used to like tease her, and they had a bit of a fighting sort of relationship, bantering back and forth, and not the good kind of banter. And eventually, over time, I think maybe Buttercup Finn, like, she got really irritated at him, and then Smokewater realized she was irritated. But you know, sometimes like when you get irritated at someone, you pay more attention to them. I think that's what happened. And then Smokewater actually, and then they got like their first stuck together, and that was probably annoying for the both of them. But then Smokewater, maybe as an apology, took Buttercup Finn out to look at the stars, explaining the constellations to her. And I think that's what did it. It's like someone who hasn't been getting along with you and you've been paying so much attention to, suddenly they do a 180 and they do something really nice. Like, are you going to be able to stop thinking about that? I think that's what's happened to Buttercup Finn. She had like a 180 because she was used to expecting something from this relationship with Smokewater, which was like arguments and annoyance and bantering, and then suddenly he did something nice and then she couldn't stop thinking about it. But Buttercup Finn, no, don't cause problems. Don't lead him astray, please. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't mess with him like that. Flare Freckle, and like your daughter's mate. This didn't even like go through my brain cells. But Smokewater is her daughter's mate. Can you stop messing with your daughter's love life? Like, please. Can you stop? She's like happily in love. She's gonna give you your grandkittens with Smokewater. Can you just leave him alone? Please, Buttercup Finn. Although I will say, in Luminous Clan, we did have a similar situation. And one cat actually ended up being mated in the end to, like, he had a mate that he fell in love with. And then the mate's mother fell in love with him. And then the mate's mother confessed to him. And then he took his mate's mother as his second mate, even though he never loved her or gave her attention, but just so that she could have some companionship. It was weird, but we had stuff happen in Luminous Clan that I'm now being reminded of. It is wild. It is wild. But okay, so that's what's been happening relationship-wise. I think I've gone through everyone. Yeah, we ended on Smokewater, but then we had to go back to Buttercup Finn because of that connection. That aside though, Smokewater, he is in love with Flare Freckle, but I think he has too many distractions. He's got too many distractions. Too many other cats. That either like something happens with them or he can't help noticing them. Something. But okay, that's what we had for everyone's relationships. Obviously no matchmaking happening. So let's just go ahead and take a look at what everyone's doing for the day. Fernstar had a nice chat with Alona outside clan territory. Buttercup Finn is grooming away, probably because she's trying to look nice to Smokewater and Ferntail. Scorchmoss is running low on mouse bile. Wait, what? What the heck does the royal physician have to use mouse bile for? I'm sorry? Am I misunderstanding that? Flailstorm saw a two-leg kit playing with a kitty pet. Icicle Speck recently reported the scent of rogues in the territory. Oh, we might have to be careful when we go out patrolling. Bearpelt is looking forward to finding more prey as the snow melts. Shining Stripe is asking Flare Freckle an important question. He's checking in on his sister. That makes me so happy. He was protective of her quite a few moons back when she was getting pressured by the king, and Shining Stripe was getting annoyed by the king because, like, how dare you tell my sister what to do? Flare Freckle is looking forward to finding more prey as the snow melts. Shade Fleck is, Mr. Catch, and is still sulking over it. Smokewater is passing on stories of old to the next generation, which he probably feels is very, very important because the older cats are slowly but surely dying out. Okay, so that's all we have for the cat list. Let me cut the recording here and we'll continue with patrols. Okay, it is time for us to resume with our patrols. We currently have 22.5 prey. We need 27.5, which means that we are going to be sending out a hunting patrol after the royal physician goes out. So first up, Scorchmoss. Let's see what you get up to in the forest outside the grotto. As the poppy starts to bloom and set seed in new leaf, Scorchmoss jumps at the opportunity. Proceed. Scorchmoss uses the bright flowers to find the plants quickly, determined to bring back as many poppy seeds as possible. Poppy was gathered. Okay, and then we're gonna have our patrol of 6 with King Fernstar, Icicle Speck, Shining Stripe, Buttercup Finn, the king's right hand, a bear pelt, and shade fleck, and obviously we're going to do a hunting patrol. This is very important. This is very important because we have kittens that are going to be born in the next episode. We have a pregnant she-cat that needs to be fed, a clan that needs to be fed. Please find something, please. As the patrol heads out into the forest to hunt, Buttercup Finn seems to be absolutely unconcerned with her duties, instead ambling along as though the prey is going to waltz into her paws. This is not good. This is not good. Buttercup Finn, what are you doing? She's been so distracted lately. So distracted. I don't know if she's doing a good job, guys, as the king's right hand. Out of all the right hands we've had, she is the most distracted. Not only distracting the king, but distracted herself. The patrol settles into the hunt, following the scents of mice. Buttercup Finn wanders back, and as she puts a paw down, the ground squeaks. She leans down, jaws snapping, and meets the eyes of the rest of the patrol with an insolent smirk. A medium amount of prey is brought to camp. Okay, I'm sorry, Buttercup Finn. She was being lazy, but hey, the forest is so abundant that she doesn't even have to make an effort to bring back food. So thankfully, we managed to get something. We have 65.7 prey, which is amazing. But that is all we managed to get up to today. With that said and done, I'm going to wrap up the episode here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.